All right, today we're going to dive into a vision for a totally different kind of internet. We're talking about a world where you, yes, you, are actually in control of your digital life. The whole idea is laid out in a book called Enkai, and it maps out this incredible alternative to the surveillance economy we're all stuck in. And the wildest part? This isn't just science fiction. It's being built right now. So let's get into it.
So let's start with a really simple question, but one that has some seriously complicated answers. When you really think about it, in a world where every single click, every search, every like is being watched, who really truly owns your data? To make this less abstract, let's talk about a real person, Sarah Chen. And her story is probably a lot like yours. She was just living her life online, browsing, shopping, scrolling through social media, and she had absolutely no idea that this invisible web was being woven all around her, tracking every single thing she did. And how big was that web? Well, it was made up of 47 different companies. That's right, 47. Data brokers, ad agencies, tech platforms, all of them tracking, packaging, and selling off pieces of her life without her ever knowing they even existed. That's the staggering scale of what we're all up against. And this brings us right to the heart of how the modern internet makes money. It's an entire economy built on surveillance. It's a system where your personal information isn't just some random byproduct of you being online. No, it is the product. And they get this data from literally everywhere. Your phone's location is a gold mine. Little fragments of conversation your smart speaker picks up? Yep. Your heart rate from your fitness tracker? Of course. All your social media profiles, scans of your private emails, what you watch, what you buy, all of it just gets vacuumed up into these massive databases to build a scarily accurate profile of who you are.
There's a quote that just nails this entire situation perfectly. It captures this fundamental truth. In this economy, Sarah and you were never the customer. You were the product being sold. If a service is free online, you can bet that the value isn't flowing to you. You are the resource that's being mined.
Okay, so that's the problem. It's a big one. So how do we fix it? Well, the book argues that we don't need better privacy policies. We need better architecture from the ground up. And the solution it proposes is something called the human firewall. Now, the core of this firewall is a really powerful concept, the Personal Data Locker, or PDL for short. The easiest way to picture it is like a digital Fort Knox that only you have the key for. All of your data lives in there, completely encrypted and under your control. This doesn't just make unwanted spying difficult, it makes it technically impossible. And when you put the old way and the new way side by side, wow, the difference is just night and day. We go from our data being stored on some random corporate server to being safe in our own personal locker. We go from being the product to being the owner. And this is the big one. The whole system flips. It goes from surveillance by default to privacy by design. Companies have to ask for your permission, not just take it and hope you can figure out how to opt out later. Now, you might be thinking, okay, this sounds great in theory, but is it real? And the answer is a resounding yes. This isn't just some pipe dream. It's being built on a foundation of serious enterprise-level technology that's been quietly developed for years. And you can see from the timeline, this has been a slow, patient, deliberate build. It all kicked off back in 2016 with a company called Jasmy, founded by former top execs from Sony. They didn't chase hype, they just built. They landed huge partnerships with giants like Toyota and Panasonic. By 2023, they got this super important enterprise security certification, proving this is the real deal, infrastructure that even massive corporations can trust. So here's how the two big pieces of the puzzle fit together. It's actually pretty simple. Jasmy provides that secure personal data locker we talked about. That's the vault for your data. But just having a vault isn't enough. You need a way to use your data. That's where a sister project called Junction comes in. It provides the secure blockchain for verifiable transactions and all the computing power needed to make it run. So we have the tech, we have the infrastructure. But what does this all mean for a regular person? How does the system actually work as a freedom engine? So let me introduce you to David Martinez. He's a consultant, travels all the time for work, and he's living a documentation nightmare. Lost receipts, forgotten mileage, the usual stuff. Because of that chaos, he missed out on $23,000 in legitimate tax deductions. I mean, that's a huge, painful loss. This is where the Enkai solution is just magic. David just installs his personal data locker, and then the system, in the background, privately and automatically, documents everything, his travel, his expenses. Come tax time,
He just pushes a button, and it generates a verified, tamper-proof report. He gets his full deductions, no more headaches. It's that simple.
And you see, it's not even just about the money he saved. It's the psychological weight that's lifted. As the quote says, the system turns this awful, stressful burden into something that just hums along quietly in the background. It just works.
But here's where the vision really explodes. It's so much bigger than just solving one person's tax problems. This kind of infrastructure could power an entirely new way for us to do business together.
It's called a mesh economy. And the easiest way to get it is to think about platforms like Uber or Airbnb. In that model, all the value gets sucked up to the top, to the central company, right? A mesh economy completely flips that script. The value flows between all the people participating in the network. Everyone who contributes gets to benefit.
And this new economy runs on what the book calls the civilization loop. It's basically a 4-step process for building trust from the ground up. It starts with you owning your own secured digital identity. Then you can use that to prove things and make transactions privately. Based on those actions, you build a reputation that you actually own and can take with you. And once you have that trust, you can coordinate and work with anyone, anywhere, without needing a big company in the middle.
So what does that actually look like? Well, for example, you could invite people into the network and earn a piece of the value they create. Or you could contribute your computer's spare processing power to the network and earn passive income. If you own a business, say a hotel or an airline, you could plug right in and get direct access to a whole network of verified high-value customers. The possibilities are huge.
And all of this brings us to the final and maybe the most powerful thought in Enkai. The technologies we're talking about, they're not hypothetical anymore. They exist. They're working right now. The foundations are being laid as we speak. So the real question isn't if this new world is coming. The question is, what part are you going to play in building it?